Hello, my dear munchkins. I hope you are doing great. I have a really interesting video today. It's gonna be about direct and indirect object pronouns. Okay? I hope you're gonna enjoy this one. It's gonna be a long video, like all my videos lately, but it's because you are gonna know everything about direct and indirect pronouns. Okay? And what else? Well, just remind you, I have my website. You can go book your lessons if you don't want to book a lesson, but you want to support my channel. I also have the link, buy me a coffee. And well, that's all. So we're going to start. First, I'm going to show you a picture with the pronouns direct and indirect. And also, I'm going to show you the reflexive pronouns. And I'm going to tell you why. So check the picture. As you can see, we have first direct pronoun, me, te, lo, la, nos, los, y las, okay? And the other side, well, in the third column, we have indirect object, pronoun, me, te, le, and se, nos, les, and se, okay? And in the middle, I add in the second column the reflexive one. Why I did this? Okay, I did it because as you can see, in, for example, direct object, reflexive, and indirect object, first person and second person is the same pronoun, okay? So that's why a lot of people don't really have a lot of problems with those ones. When it's a problem is when we go to the third person, either singular or plural. Because the direct object, it's going to change. The indirect object also change, but check that. Sometimes can turn into se. I'm going to explain you why, okay? And the third person plural too. So today we're just going to be working with direct and indirect, but I'm going to show you the difference when it's going to be reflexive and direct, so you can have a little bit more clear this, because I know that you don't use reflexive pronouns in English, so it's going to be probably hard for you to say like, well, this is reflexive, but what about if it's this? So don't worry, I'm going to do it, okay? So we are going to start with the direct pronoun, and I'm going to write my direct pronouns. So we say it's me, te, lo if it's for him, la if it's for her, nos, los, and las. Los and las is gonna be either for they, if it's just female, masculine, or for you guys, okay? And the other side, I'm gonna write the reflexive ones. And it's gonna be me, te, se, y nos. Yeah? Super clear. Okay. Now we're gonna write a title, direct object. Direct object. So we're gonna start. Okay, the direct object, it's gonna answer the question what or whom. Okay? And actually, the direct object, besides the placement where you put it in Spanish, has the same use as in English. Okay? I'm gonna show you an example. Yo baño a Max. The verb is bañar, okay? And so what or whom, okay? Max. So we have to choose from our direct objects. It's me? No. It's you? No. It's he? Yes. So it's gonna be lo, our direct object, okay? And in English, you normally put it in here. I give him, okay, a shower. And for us, it's gonna be before, okay, between our pronoun, the one that is doing the action, then the direct one, and the verb. Yo lo baño, okay? Who is doing the action? Me to him, yeah? Easy peasy, okay? Why I decide to make it with this pronoun? Okay, remember that we have bañar or bañarse. Bañarse will be the reflexive one, okay? So why I'm here, I'm using a direct pronoun and no a reflexive. Because Max is not doing the action to himself, I'm doing it to him, okay? So if I want to say that Max is doing the action to himself, it will be él se baña. Also has to be in between who is doing the action and the verb, but it's going to be se. Okay? Él se baña. He is doing the action. Okay? To him. He does the action, he receives the action. I'm doing the action to him. The verb can have a reflexive form, but when we don't use it in the reflexive form, we use the direct object, and that's when we can do the action to someone else. Okay? Well, that was the easy part. Now, I'm going to show you where you can place the direct object if you have different tenses. We're going to talk a little bit more about where to place the direct and indirect. We already say that it was here. Yes. But that's for the simple tenses, when we are just using one verb. So, in here, it's present. Él prepara nuggets. In here, I don't have the direct object. I'm going to do it right now. So Max prepara nuggets. It's nuggets, and we are saying that it's going to be los because it's plural. Okay? So Max los prepara. Okay? And we're saying that it's here. Good. So this is present. What about if it will be past? Max los preparó. What about if it will be irregular past? Max los preparaba. What about if it will be future? Max los preparará. Okay? But it's simple. It's a simple tense because it's just using one verb. Okay? The verb that is changing all the time is this one. Okay? So the question is, what if we have to use a paraphrasis verbal, like we check in the reflexive verbs, that we are using more than one verb? We're going to check that. So instead of saying Max prepara, we're going to use Max, the going to. Max va a preparar nuggets. Okay? So, two verbs. Ir and preparar. Now, where I'm gonna place them? Well, if you watch my other video about the reflexive pronouns, you're gonna know that in there we can place it before or after. Same situation in here. So, I'm gonna write Max los va a preparar, or Max va a prepararlos. Okay? So we are coming from a really easy tense when it's just one verb to when we have to use perífrasis verbal, that is two verbs, okay? This is when we use going to. It will be the same if we use the verb estar, that they will be like either present continuous or past continuous or future continuous. So I'm going to show you. So, Max está preparando nuggets. Okay? This we are mentioning what? But we are going to turn it into the direct, using the direct object instead of the noun nuggets. So, Max los está preparando. Okay? Great job. Or, when it goes all the way till the end, Max está preparando dolos. Okay? So if you want to put it at the end, we always have to put it next to. Okay? It's not another word. It has to be just one. And remember that normally this word is going to turn to have an accent. Okay? So, simple here. Easy. A little bit more complicated when you have two verbs. You either choose before or after. It doesn't really make a difference. You can do it before or after. It's just more because people get confused and they are like, why sometimes I talk? Because if you learn just one way to do it, then when people say it another way, because my students always ask me this, it's like, why? Why I feel like I'm never saying things right? Well, it doesn't mean that it's not right. It's more that we have this, and it's another way that you can do the order, okay? And now I'm gonna show you the commands, okay? But because you can also do a command when you are having a direct object. So remember, we have affirmative and negative. So, no hagas la cena. In here, as la cena. We are not using, we still have the noun, okay? The noun is going to be dinner. So, make dinner, do not make dinner. We have to use the direct object in here and in here. So, since we are using a third person and it's feminine, we're going to use la, okay? So, in here, you have to attach to the verb. And it has to be at the end, asla. It's not la as. No. That doesn't exist. In the commands, you don't have choice. You put it after if it's affirmative and before if it's negative, okay? Sorry. No la hagas. Yeah? Yes, I know these two have different conjugations. Why? Well, I'm gonna have a video with how to create the commands in Spanish, okay? But for now, this is, okay? So this was the direct object. But what about the indirect object? Okay, well, give me a second and I'm gonna write more things here and we continue. Okay, now we have the indirect object. I didn't write the indirect object here or here, so please, please take a screenshot of the picture I have it in the beginning and print that or write it by hand, and you can have the direct and indirect object always hanging out there all the time, so you can see. Okay, so in here I have two verbs. One is gonna be dar. This is one, and the other one is gonna be escribir. Okay. So I'm gonna make this ones using the indirect object. Indirect object means that it's to whom. Okay, for whom. And some people can be a little bit confused with the direct object because they are gonna be like, well, but you also say like the other one is whom. Okay. Well, if we stop a little bit with this and we remember the bañar situation. So, yo baño a Max. Yo lo baño. So what I'm doing, I'm giving Max a shower. So he is receiving the action. Yes, the direct action, okay? It doesn't mean that I'm doing this for Max. But if I say yo baño a Max por Diana, here will be different because to whom or for whom, for me, okay? The person, whoever is giving a shower to Max, that is receiving the action, is doing it for me, okay? So this is kind of like the reason you are doing this for who. Know what you are doing, but for who you are doing the action, okay? In here, the action is going to receive Max. That's why he is the direct object. But I'm doing this for this person, okay? I made a really good video about por and para. So if you have questions why I'm using in here por instead of para, just watch that. I think it's the one that says like 10 different expressions with por and para, or really similar expressions, okay? Check that one. And okay, so that was the little parenthesis I had to do to teach you which one is gonna be whom and one is gonna be to whom, okay? So one receives the action directly and the other one is gonna receive the result, okay? Okay, so yo le doy nuggets a Max. So in here, nuggets, the nuggets is receiving the action because I'm taking the nuggets, these are nuggets, I'm taking the nuggets and giving them to Max, okay? So the nuggets are receiving the action, but at the end, who is gonna receive everything, or I'm doing this, is to Max, okay? So, and this one, to make it, just to have the indirect, it's just gonna be like this. Yo le doy nuggets. Okay? In Spanish, there are some verbs that I'm gonna make you a list and put a picture in a minute, that you actually have to use the indirect object all the time. One of those verbs is dar. Okay? That's just the rule. So, when you have the person who you are giving to them, it's gonna have a preposition and then the person, okay? But if you're just using the indirect object, then it's gonna look like this. And so your question is probably like, well, when I use one instead of the other? So let's say that I'm talking with a friend and we're talking about our dogs, okay? He asked me, what do you give to Max, okay, for treats? And I can tell him, le doy nuggets. Because remember, in Spanish, we always skip the pronoun. So normally we're gonna be saying le doy nuggets instead of yo le doy nuggets, yeah? So I will be saying le doy nuggets, yeah? So it's super clear because he already asked me about Max, what I give to him, so I don't have to use a Max. Okay? But if, for example, he's telling me, oh, I give my dog winners, then I can say, yo le doy nuggets a Max. Because if I just say, yo le doy nuggets, he's gonna be like, to who? Okay? Well, that's when I add a Max. The other type of verbs is the one that they do not use the indirect object all the time. So, we have in here, yo escribo una carta para Max. So, this para is gonna let me know to whom. This preposition, Max, okay? Yo le escribo una carta. So that's the indirect object, okay? When we use it, depending like this verb or the other verb. Okay, now it's gonna be the order. Where do I have to place this object, okay? Well, it's gonna be similar as the other one. Actually, it's the same. So, contar, it's to tell something to someone, okay? So, in this case, in this one, it's one of the verbs that has to use the indirect object all the time, okay? So, yo le voy a contar nuestro secreto a Max. Yo le cuento nuestro secreto a Max. In the first example, I have voy and contar. That means that it's a perífrasis verbal because we are using two verbs. And the second one is just a simple phrase, a simple tense. The verb is contar, okay? So that will be, yo le voy a contar nuestro secreto, okay? Because it's to whom. So in here already disappear the person and we just have the indirect object. This one is not that hard because you already have to have it in the conjugation, so it's not that hard. I'm gonna make an example with another one, but look at this. I can also say, yo voy a contarle. Okay, this is what I was saying. When we have two verbs, we can modify where we are gonna place the direct or indirect object. You either put it before or after. And another thing to remember, we skip this a lot. So a lot of people is going to say, le voy a contar or voy a contarle, okay? And yo le cuento nuestro secreto a Max. If we are not going to need to say Max, it's just going to be yo le cuento nuestro secreto. Yo le conté, if it's past. Yo le contaba, if it's irregular. Yo le contaré, if it's future. Okay? And when we have to use estar, it will be also the same. Okay? We can modify. So I'm going to just write it in here to show you. Yo le estoy contando nuestro secreto. Yo estoy contándole. I already have it here. Okay? Estar, it's going to be in here, and we can place it either before or all the way after the second verb. It has to be attached. Done? Okay? Well, that was with when we have one verb that already had the le included, but now we are going to use one that it's not already included. We're going to use cantar. Why not? So, Max canta una canción para Maya. Okay, and we're going to use the indirect object. So, Max le canta una canción. Okay, we don't have to use para Maya anymore because it's already here. Okay? This is if it's present, past, le cantó, le cantará, future, y le cantaba. If it's the past, but it's the irregular, le cantaba. Okay? It's not going to change, you just have to change the conjugation in here, but the place it's not going to move. But if it's the other option where you use two verbs, then you have the option. Max le va a cantar una canción. Max va a cantarle una canción. Yeah? Here and here. Yeah? Probably because I already explained this so many times, you are getting it. And remember, it's just here or here. Before those two verbs or after. And remember, if we already know who is singing the song, probably we're just going to say, le va a cantar una canción. But to be able to do this, we know who is going to do the action and who is receiving the action. If we don't know neither of those, then we have to use the full sentences, okay? Max canta una canción para Maya. And time to go to the commands with indirect object, okay? So we're going to use the verb comprar. And that's to buy, okay? So if it's a command and it's affirmative, it's going to go after. Cómprale nuggets. Negativo, no le compres nuggets. Okay? Always after, always before the verb. Okay, and now I'm gonna show you the picture I say with the verbs that they have to use the indirect object all the time. So this is a list with some of those verbs. We have contar, to tell something to someone, dar, decir, pedir, regalar, servir y traer, okay? And we are super close to the end. So the final thing is going to be when they can be doble. So double. So we are using indirect and direct object. Okay, so this is going to be the order. First of all, we're going to have indirect, and after we're going to have direct. And remember that I did this example in the beginning using both. Yo baño a Max por Diana. Okay, so I'm using in here whom I'm showering, Max, to who, or for whom? For Diana, okay? So, we are going to turn this into the, first of all, we're just going to use it with one, just for example, indirect right now. Yo le baño a Max. Okay, in here, this is the indirect, and that's why I just write le. What about if I want to do the opposite and just the direct one? Yo lo baño por Diana. If you have questions when to use por and para, please watch the video I made about this two, and that's gonna let you know. I have a video that is 10 really similar expressions when to use por and para. That there is where you are gonna find the difference when to use para Diana, por Diana. Okay? Yo lo baño por Diana. Okay, great. And in here, what we are doing is we are using the direct object part. Okay? And now we are gonna use both. So, yo se lo baño. Ta-da! Okay, and in here, the questions are gonna start, because what if I use just this, I have to use le, or if I just use this one, like lo, but in here, I have to change. Well, what about if I say yo le lo baño? That sounds super weird. And that's why we are gonna change it, okay? When we have to use both, we are gonna, instead of write le, it's gonna be se. Okay? And let's check. Indirect object first? Yes. Direct object after? Yes. Complement? Yes. Remember that sometimes we are going to skip this, so people can say le baño a Max, lo baño por Diana, o se lo baño. Okay? This is when we use double. And in this one, it's good, not that hard to understand. So the order, where I'm gonna place them. If it's just one verb, like this one, I'm gonna still use this one. Yo se lo baño. If it's if it will be past simple, yo se lo bañé. It will be past imperfect, yo se lo bañaba. In present, yo se lo bañaré. Okay? Great. Not a big deal. What about when I have to use two verbs? Two verbs involved. Okay? Let me show you. So, yo voy a bañar a Max por Diana. I'm gonna write this. Por Diana. Oh my God, yo estoy bañando a Max por Diana. Yo puedo bañar a Max por Diana. Great. Okay, we're gonna go with the first one. So we're gonna turn this using both, okay? So, first we're gonna put both in here. And the second example is gonna be with both in here because it's gonna follow the same rule. We have to either put it like before those two verbs or after, okay? So, yo, we are saying that Max is gonna be direct, so yo lo, then voy a bañar. Oh my gosh, I forgot this one. That has to go first. Okay, yo se lo voy a bañar. Okay, two. And in this one, this first is going here. Now we are going to do the ones that are going here. So, yo voy a bañar. First is going to be the indirect and then the direct. Se lo. Okay? Has to go together. As we already said, they have to be attached. Yeah? Okay? They have to be attached. So it's gonna look like this. If I'm using estoy, yo, they are going here. Se lo estoy bañando. And if I were to do it all the way at the end, yo estoy bañándoselo. Okay? And the last one is the one that we say that we are gonna do with poder. Okay? Yo se lo puedo bañar. Y yo puedo bañárselo. I'm gonna teach you now how to do it with the commands. And I have filmed that that's all. Just give me a minute. Commands. We're saying that we have affirmative and negative. We're gonna use that, a verb that always probably has to, we say that this one has to normally have the indirect object, and we are going to use comer. So it will be da, se, los. Okay? Here we have the indirect, that it was se, but because we are using two, I'm gonna have to change to se. En los, it's direct. Okay? Dáselos. Order. What about if I want to do a command that is negative? No se los des. Indirect, direct. Okay? Max, eat the nuggets. Okay? So, cómetelos. de los. Okay? Cómetelos. Okay, and probably some people is going to say, well, in you use se instead of te. In here, I'm telling Max to eat them. And in here, I'm telling you to give something to him. Okay? Okay, guys, that was everything I had to say about direct and indirect object pronouns. I hope you liked the video. I know it's a long video, but in here you are gonna find all the answers, like when to use it, how to use it, where to place it, what about if I have two, what about if I just want to use one. Okay, so I hope you like this video. I feel like I'm proud about this video because it's hard sometimes to even like explain to some people because I know it is way different from how you use it. So that's why, and also more when you have to put them together and at the end or in the beginning or all of that. So I really like this video. I hope you like it too. Please leave me comments. It was good, it wasn't, it helped you, it didn't help you, you already knew everything, and just let me know what you think. Okay, and you can book your lesson in my website, or you can help me supporting my channel, donating whatever you want. Okay, well, that's everything. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I invite you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and that's all. I will see you in my next video. Ciao, my chins.